Zara's legs shook as she stood against the cold metal wall of Station Nexus 7. Her arms held her daughter Mira close to her chest. The little girl was quiet now. Too quiet. 3 days ago Mira cried for food. 2 days ago she whimpered. Now she just lay still, her small body weak and tired. The station was full of life. Thousands of beings walked past them every hour. Traders shouted about their goods. Ship engines roared as vessels came and went. Lights flashed everywhere. Sounds filled the air. But nobody stopped. Nobody looked at the Velkan mother holding her dying child. Zara was once proud. Her people, the Velkans, were known across the galaxy as warriors. Strong, brave, honorable. She had worn that pride like armor her whole life. But pride could not feed a hungry child. Pride could not bring back her dead husband. Pride could not pay the docking fees that got her ship taken away. She had tried everything. She sold her weapons first. Then her jewelry. Then her clothes, keeping only the simple outfit she wore now. She asked for work at every shop, every cargo bay, every cleaning service. But nobody wanted to hire a Velkan with a small child. Too much trouble, they said. Too risky. Now she had nothing left. Nothing except Mira. And Mira was fading. Zara looked down at her daughter's face. The beautiful green scales that covered Mira's skin were turning dull and gray. Her eyes stayed closed most of the time. Her breathing was shallow. Velkan children were strong, but even they could not survive without food. A tall Threen merchant walked past, his 4 arms carrying expensive data pads. Zara reached out weakly. Please, she whispered. Just a few credits. My daughter needs food. The Threen did not even slow down. He walked past as if she was invisible. A Korthan female came next, her purple skin gleaming under the station lights. Zara tried again. Please help us. She is just a child. The Korthan glanced at them, made a disgusted sound, and hurried away. Zara felt tears burn her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She was Velkan. She was a warrior. But what good was being a warrior when you could not protect your own child? More beings passed. More ignored them. Some looked uncomfortable. Some looked annoyed. None helped. Then she saw the human. He was not tall or impressive. He wore simple work clothes, brown pants and a gray shirt with oil stains on the sleeves. His hair was brown and messy. His face had lines around the eyes that showed he smiled often. He carried 2 large crates, one under each arm, walking with steady steps toward a docking bay. Zara had heard stories about humans. They were the newest species in the galactic community. Strange beings who did not fit the normal patterns. Some said they were weak. Some said they were dangerous. Some said they were unpredictable. But Zara was desperate. She had no other choice. As the human walked close, Zara pushed away from the wall. Her legs nearly gave out, but she forced herself to stand. She stepped into his path. Please, she said, her voice breaking. My daughter, she needs food. Anything. Please. The human stopped. He set down his crates carefully and looked at her. His eyes were brown and warm. He did not look disgusted. He did not look annoyed. He looked concerned. When did you last eat? He asked. His voice was gentle. The question surprised Zara. Most beings who bothered to respond would ask how much money she needed or tell her to go to a charity station. Nobody asked about meals. 3 days, Zara admitted. But my daughter, she is weaker. She needs. 3 days, the human repeated. He shook his head slowly. Then he looked at Mira in Zara's arms. The little girl's eyes opened slightly at the sound of a new voice. She is very young. 5 years old, Zara said. Please, I am not asking for much. Just enough for her. The human held up his hand, but not in an angry way. What is your name? Zara. My daughter is Mira. I am Walter, the human said. He bent down and picked up his crates again. Come with me. Zara blinked in confusion. What? Come on, Walter said, nodding toward the docking bay. My ship is this way. Let's get some food into both of you. Zara's warrior instinct screamed at her. This was wrong. Nobody offered help like this. There was always a price. Always a catch. He would get them on his ship and then demand payment in other ways. She had heard the stories. Desperate people disappeared on stations like this all the time. But Mira made a soft sound in her arms. A weak, hungry sound that broke Zara's heart. What choice did she have? Stay here and watch Mira die? Or take the risk that this human might actually help? Why? Zara asked. Why would you help us? Walter paused and turned back to look at her. Because you need help, he said simply. And because that little girl should not be hungry. Come on. We can talk while you eat. He started walking again, not looking back to see if she would follow. Zara stood frozen for a moment. Every instinct told her to be careful, to be suspicious, to protect herself and Mira from whatever trap this might be. But those same instincts had not found food, had not found shelter, had not saved them from 3 days of starvation. Maybe it was time to try something different. Maybe it was time to trust. Zara took a deep breath and followed Walter toward his ship. Her legs were weak and her arms ached from carrying Mira, but she forced herself to keep walking. The human walked at a steady pace, not too fast, as if he knew she was struggling. They passed through the busy station corridors. Other beings moved around them, focused on their own business. Nobody paid attention to the human merchant and the desperate Velkan mother following him. Walter led them to docking bay 17. The door slid open to reveal a medium-sized cargo ship. It was not fancy or new, but it looked well-maintained. The name Steady Hand was painted on the side in simple letters. Walter walked up the loading ramp and looked back at Zara. She stood at the bottom, hesitating. "It is safe," Walter said. "I promise. Just food. Nothing else." Zara looked down at Mira. Her daughter's eyes were closed again. Her breathing was so shallow. She climbed the ramp and followed Walter into the ship. The door closed behind them with a soft hiss. Zara's heart pounded. She was trapped now. If this human wanted to hurt them, there was no escape. But Walter just walked deeper into the ship, carrying his crates. "Galley is this way," he called back. "Have a seat. I will make something quick." Zara followed him into a small room with a table and cooking equipment. It was clean and organized. It smelled like food, real food, not the recycled paste sold in station dispensers. Walter set down his crates and opened a cooling unit. He pulled out containers and started working. Zara sat at the table, still holding Mira tight. She watched Walter's every move, ready to fight if needed. But Walter just cooked. He hummed quietly to himself as he worked. After a few minutes, he placed 2 bowls on the table. Steam rose from them. The smell made Zara's stomach ache with hunger. "Eat," Walter said. "We will talk after." Zara looked at the food, then at Walter, then at Mira. She picked up a spoon and began to feed her daughter. The soup was warm and thick. Zara lifted the spoon carefully to Mira's lips. Her daughter's eyes opened slowly. At first, Mira just stared at the food like she could not believe it was real. Then her small tongue touched the soup and her eyes went wide. Slowly, Zara whispered in their language. "Small bites. Your stomach is not ready for too much." Mira drank from the spoon. Then another. And another. Color started to return to her gray scales. Her small hands reached up to hold the spoon with her mother. Walter stood by the cooking area, watching with a gentle smile. He said nothing. He did not rush them. He just let them eat. After Mira had several spoonfuls, Zara picked up the second bowl. The first taste of real food after 3 days made her want to cry. The soup had vegetables and something that tasted like meat. It was simple food, nothing fancy, but it was the best thing Zara had ever tasted. Walter cut thick slices from a loaf of bread and placed them on the table. "The bread is fresh from yesterday," he said. "Well, fresh for a cargo ship anyway." Zara tore off a small piece and gave it to Mira. The little girl chewed slowly, her eyes starting to brighten. Then Zara ate some herself. The bread was soft and still good. They ate in silence for several minutes. Walter moved around the galley, putting away his cooking supplies and cleaning up. He hummed that same quiet tune. He did not stare at them. He did not ask questions. He just let them eat in peace. Zara kept watching him from the corner of her eye. She waited for the moment when he would demand something. When he would tell them the real price for this food. When he would show his true intentions. But Walter just cleaned and hummed. Finally, Mira finished her bowl and leaned against Zara's chest. The little girl's eyes were heavy with sleep. A full stomach after days of hunger made her body want rest. "She should sleep," Walter said quietly. "There is a spare cabin down the hall. Second door on the left. The bed is clean." Zara tensed. "Why would you give us a cabin?" "Because your daughter needs to rest properly," Walter said. He wiped down the counter with a cloth. "And because you look like you have not slept in days either." "I do not understand," Zara said. Her warrior training made her suspicious of kindness without reason. "What do you want from us?" Walter stopped cleaning and turned to face her. His expression was calm and open. "I do not want anything right now except for you both to eat and rest. We can talk about everything else later." "There is always a price," Zara said firmly. "Nobody helps for free." "The price is that you ate my soup," Walter said with a small smile. "And honestly, I am just happy someone enjoyed my cooking. My crew always complains that I use too much salt." Zara did not smile. You have a crew? 2 others, Walter said. Engineer and pilot. They are on station leave right now. Should be back tomorrow. And you want to add us to your crew? Zara asked. She did not believe that could be true. Walter tilted his head thoughtfully. Well, I had not planned it exactly. But now that you mention it, I could use another set of hands. Freight work is not glamorous, but it is steady. And it comes with quarters and meals. Zara stared at him. You are offering me a job? Just like that. Why not? Walter picked up their empty bowls and placed them in a cleaning unit. You need work. I need crew. Seems like it could work out for both of us. You know nothing about me, Zara said. I could be a criminal. I could be dangerous. Are you? Walter asked simply. No, Zara admitted. But you do not know that. You are right, Walter said. I do not know your whole story. But I know you love your daughter enough to beg strangers for help. I know you have been through something hard. And I know you need a chance to get back on your feet. He shrugged. That is enough for me. Zara felt confused and frustrated. This made no sense. What if I steal from you? What if I am a bad worker? Then I will deal with it, Walter said calmly. But I do not think you will. You have warrior marks on your arms. Vulcan military tattoos, right? That means you know discipline and hard work. Zara looked down at the faded marks on her forearms. She had earned them in service to her clan before everything fell apart. Those tattoos mean nothing now. My clan is scattered. My honor is gone. Honor is not gone just because you fell on hard times, Walter said. Honor is about what you do next, not what happened to you. In Zara's arms, Mira made a small sound in her sleep. The little girl was completely relaxed now, her breathing steady and peaceful. What kind of work? Zara asked quietly. She was still suspicious, but desperation made her keep listening. Freight hauling, Walter explained. We take cargo from place to place. Sometimes station to station. Sometimes to colonies or outposts. We load cargo, secure it, transport it safely, and unload it. Nothing illegal. Nothing dangerous unless you count the occasional equipment malfunction. And you would give us quarters? Both of us. The spare cabin has enough space, Walter said. It is not huge, but it has a bed, storage, and a small bathroom. Mira could have the bed and you could use a sleep mat until we figure something better out. Zara's mind raced. This could be the answer to everything. A job. A place to live. Food for Mira. But it still felt wrong. Too easy. Too good. What is the real reason? Zara demanded. Humans do not just help random aliens out of kindness. What do you really want? Walter was quiet for a moment. He leaned against the counter and crossed his arms. His face became more serious. 7 years ago, he said slowly, I was where you are now. Different circumstances but the same desperation. I just lost my ship to bad debt. I was sleeping in station cargo bays and eating from trash recyclers. I was ready to give up. Zara listened carefully. Then a cargo captain named Sarah found me trying to steal food from her ship, Walter continued. Instead of turning me into station security, she offered me a job. Just like that. No questions about my past. No demands for proof I was trustworthy. She just said everyone deserves a second chance. What happened to this Sarah? Zara asked. She retired 2 years ago, Walter said with a smile. Sold me this ship at a price I could actually afford. Told me to pay it forward when I got the chance. He looked at Zara directly. So that is what I am doing. Paying it forward. Zara wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe that someone could actually help without wanting something terrible in return. But trust was hard after everything she had been through. I need time to think, Zara said. That is fair, Walter said. The cabin is yours for tonight regardless. Sleep on it. If you decide this is not for you, I will give you enough credits for a week of food and help you find other work. No strings attached. Why would you do that? Because you deserve a second chance, Walter said simply. Everyone does. Mira stirred in Zara's arms and made a small happy sound. The little girl smiled in her sleep, her belly finally full. Zara looked down at her daughter. Then back at Walter. Show me the cabin, she said quietly. Walter nodded and led them down the hallway. The first week aboard the Steady Hand, Zara barely slept. She worked harder than necessary, loading and unloading cargo with intense focus. She cleaned sections of the ship that were already clean. She checked security systems twice when once was enough. Every moment, she waited for Walter to reveal his true intentions. To demand payment. To show why he really brought them aboard. But Walter just nodded his approval at her work and said nothing else. Mira grew stronger each day. Her scales regained their beautiful green shine. She smiled more. She laughed when the ship's engineer, a cheerful Threen named Kato, made silly faces at her. She learned to say thank you in human language, though it came out as tank oo in her small voice. The ship's pilot was a quiet Korthan female named Shiera. She had purple skin and wise eyes that seemed to see everything. At first, Zara worried Shiera would resent having a Velkan aboard. Their species had fought wars in the past. But Shiera just treated Zara like any other crew member. Professional. Respectful. Fair. Walter has good instincts about people, Shiera told Zara one day in the cargo bay. In 5 years working with him, he has never been wrong about someone's character. He barely knows me, Zara said while securing a cargo container. He knows enough, Shiera replied. You work hard. You care for your child. You have honor even when you think you have lost it. That is all he needs to know. Zara did not know how to respond to that, so she just kept working. 2 weeks into the journey, they stopped at a mining colony to deliver supplies. The colony manager tried to claim 3 containers were damaged and refused to pay the full amount. Zara could see the lie immediately. The containers were perfectly fine. The manager just wanted to cheat them. Walter started to negotiate calmly, but the manager became aggressive. He called 2 security guards over to intimidate them. Zara stepped forward. Her warrior instincts took over. She looked at the manager with the cold stare she had learned in military training. The containers are undamaged, she said in a low, dangerous voice. You will pay the agreed price, or you will explain to your supervisors why this colony gets no more deliveries. The manager blinked. He looked at Zara's warrior tattoos. He saw the way she stood, balanced and ready. He saw she was not afraid of his guards. Fine, he muttered. Full price. After they left the colony, Walter smiled at Zara. That was impressive. You did not threaten him directly, but he definitely understood the message. Bullies only respect strength, Zara said. He needed to see we would not be pushed around. Good instincts, Walter said. We get customers like that sometimes. Having someone with your experience will help a lot. Zara felt something strange in her chest. Pride maybe. She had not felt useful in a long time. One evening, after Mira fell asleep in their cabin, Zara found Walter in the galley making tea. She sat down across from him without being invited. She had questions that had been building for weeks. Why do you do this? She asked directly. Walter poured tea into 2 cups. Do what? Help people. You help me. Shiera told me you gave her a job when no one else would hire a Korthan pilot with a medical condition. Kato said you paid for his sister's surgery when she got sick. Walter handed her a cup of tea. Shiera talks too much. She cares about you, Zara said. They both do. But I still do not understand why you do these things. Walter was quiet for a moment, sipping his tea. Do you know what I learned when I was desperate and alone on that station 7 years ago? What? That nobody deserves to suffer alone, Walter said. I learned that one person helping can change everything. Sarah changed my entire life by giving me one chance. One opportunity to prove myself. But you could have just taken that lesson for yourself, Zara said. You could have built your success and forgotten about others. I could have, Walter agreed. But what kind of person would that make me? Sarah helped me because she believed communities should support each other. She believed people are stronger together than alone. Not everyone thinks like that, Zara said. Most beings only care about themselves. Some do, Walter admitted. But not all. And even if only some of us try to help each other, that is better than none of us trying. Zara thought about her own people. Velkans valued strength and honor, but they also valued clan loyalty. Taking care of clan members was expected. But Walter's idea went beyond clan. He helped strangers. Different species. People he had no obligation to. Is this a human philosophy? Zara asked. Walter laughed softly. Some humans believe it. Some do not. Just like any species, we are not all the same. But I choose to believe it. I choose to think that helping others makes the galaxy a little better. Even when they cannot pay you back? Especially then, Walter said. You do not help people because they can repay you. You help them because they need help. That is the whole point. Zara felt something shift inside her. For weeks she had been waiting for the trap. For the moment when Walter would demand what she really owed him. But there was no trap. This was just who he was. I thought you were helping me out of pity, Zara admitted quietly. No, Walter said firmly. Pity is looking down on someone and feeling sorry for them. That is not what this is. I respect you, Zara. You survived impossible circumstances to protect your daughter. You kept going when most people would have given up. That takes strength I am not sure I have. Zara felt her throat tighten. No one had spoken to her like that in a long time. You are part of this crew now, Walter continued. Not because I feel sorry for you, but because you are good at what you do. Because you make us stronger. Because you belong here. I have not earned that yet, Zara said. You earn it every day, Walter replied. Every time you work hard. Every time you use your skills to help us. Every time you take care of Mira and show her what a strong parent looks like. You are earning it all the time. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, drinking their tea. Sarah told me something before she retired, Walter said eventually. She said the best way to repay kindness is not to pay it back but to pay it forward. Help the next person who needs it. Keep the cycle going. And that is what you are doing with me, Zara said. That is what we are doing together, Walter corrected. Because someday you will help someone else. Maybe someone from your own species who needs hope. Maybe a complete stranger. But you will pass it on because you understand now. Zara thought about that. She imagined herself in the future, successful and stable, meeting another desperate parent. Would she help them? A few weeks ago she would have said she could not afford to, that she had to focus on her own survival. But now she understood what Walter meant. Helping others was not about having extra resources. It was about believing people deserve chances. About building something better than just individual success. I am beginning to understand, Zara said softly. Walter smiled. Good. That means this is working. Myra's voice called from the cabin. Mama? Zara stood up. Thank you for the tea. Anytime, Walter said. As Zara walked back to her cabin, she realized something important. She had stopped waiting for the trap. She had stopped being suspicious of every kind word. She was beginning to trust. And maybe, just maybe, she was beginning to believe in Walter's philosophy too. The alarm screamed through the steady hand at 3 a.m. Zara jolted awake, her warrior instincts kicking in before her mind fully cleared. She heard Mira crying in fear and scooped her daughter up quickly. Stay here, Zara commanded, placing Mira in the corner of the cabin farthest from the door. Hide behind the bed. Do not come out until I get you. Mama, I am scared, Mira whimpered. I know, little one. I will keep you safe. Zara kissed her daughter's forehead and ran toward the bridge. Walter was already there with Sierra and Kato. The view screen showed 2 small attack ships flanking them. Pirates. Zara recognized the design immediately. Rim Raiders, one of the nastier groups that operated in frontier space. They are demanding we stop engines and prepare to be boarded, Sierra said, her hands steady on the controls despite the tension in her voice. How many? Zara asked. Scans show maybe 8 to 10 on those 2 ships, Kato replied. We have no weapons. We are a cargo vessel. One of the pirate ships fired a warning shot that flew past their hull. The steady hand shook slightly. Walter's communicator crackled to life. A rough voice spoke. This is Captain Vrel of the Rim Raiders. You will shut down your engines and allow us to board. Do this and you may live. Resist and we will destroy your ship. Walter looked at his crew. His face was calm, but Zara could see the calculation in his eyes. What cargo are we carrying? He asked Kato. Medical supplies for Colony 7, Kato said. Antibiotics, surgical equipment, water purifiers. The colony had an outbreak last month. They are desperate for this shipment. Of course they are, Walter muttered. He pressed the communicator button. Captain Vrel, these supplies are going to a colony that needs them. People will die without this medicine. Vrel laughed. Not my problem, human. Medical supplies sell very well on the black market. Now shut down your engines. I have a counter-offer, Walter said. Let us continue to the colony. I will transfer you credits equal to half the cargo value. You get paid without the risk of trying to sell stolen medical supplies. There was a pause. Then Vrel spoke again. No deal. I want the cargo. You have 30 seconds to shut down engines or we open fire. If you cooperate, we will drop you off at the nearest station with your crew intact. Everyone lives. Easy choice. Walter looked at his crew. They are giving us a chance to walk away. The colony needs those supplies, Sierra said quietly. People will die, Kato added. Children probably. The outbreak was hitting the young and old the hardest. Zara understood the situation immediately. Walter could surrender. Save his crew. Save Mira. The pirates would take the cargo and probably keep their word about dropping them at a station. It was the smart choice. The safe choice. But people would die at Colony 7. 10 seconds, Vrel's voice crackled. Decide now. Walter looked at Zara. You have a child aboard. This is not your fight if you do not want it to be. Zara thought of Mira hiding in the cabin, frightened and alone. Every instinct screamed at her to take her daughter and demand they surrender. To choose safety. But she also thought about the parents at Colony 7. Watching their children get sick. Waiting desperately for medicine that would never come if Walter surrendered. She had been desperate once. Someone helped her. Maybe it was time to help others. I am Velkin, Zara said firmly. We do not abandon people who need us. We fight. Walter smiled slightly. Kato, can you reroute power to rear shields? Already doing it, Kato said, his forearms flying across the console. Shiera, evasive pattern delta. Keep us moving. Time is up, Vrel's voice snarled. You just chose death. The pirate ships opened fire. Shiera threw the steady hand into a hard turn. The ship groaned as it maneuvered in ways cargo vessels were not meant to move. Energy blasts struck the shields, making the whole vessel shake. They are trying to disable our engines, Shiera said through gritted teeth. If they succeed, we are dead in space. We cannot outrun them, Walter said. But we can outlast them. Those are small attack ships. They have limited fuel and ammunition. We just need to survive long enough. That is a human strategy, Zara said with approval. Persistence. Endurance. Outlasting the enemy instead of overpowering them. Another volley of energy blasts hit the shields. The lights flickered. Shields at 60%, Kato reported. Zara's mind raced. She had trained for combat situations, but always in military vessels with weapons. Here they had nothing but shields and engines. Can we vent cargo? She asked suddenly. What? Walter looked at her. Vent cargo containers into their path. Make them waste ammunition shooting obstacles. Slow them down. Walter's eyes lit up. Kato, can we do that? Yes, but we will lose some supplies. Better than losing all of them. Do it. Kato worked his console. The cargo bay doors opened and empty containers shot out behind them. The pirates had to swerve and blast them out of the way, wasting energy and ammunition. Brilliant, Walter said to Zara. They played a dangerous game for 20 minutes. Shiera dodged. Kato managed the shields and vented obstacles. Walter coordinated everything. Zara watched the sensors, calling out attack patterns before they happened. Then disaster struck. One lucky shot from the pirates hit a power junction. Sparks exploded from a wall panel on the bridge. The ship lurched hard to the left. We lost starboard maneuvering, Shiera shouted. The pirates saw their chance. Both ships moved to flank them on the damaged side. They are preparing to board, Zara said, reading the sensors. They will attach to the starboard airlock. Walter stood up. Kato, seal all internal doors except the starboard corridor. Zara, can you? An explosion rocked the ship. The pirates had breached the outer airlock. Mira. Zara's heart stopped. The starboard corridor led past crew quarters. Past her cabin. She ran. Behind her, she heard Walter shouting orders, but she did not stop. Her daughter was in danger. Zara reached the corridor just as 4 pirates in armor came through the breached airlock. They carried weapons and moved with the confidence of people who had done this many times. The lead pirate saw her and raised his weapon. Stay back, Velkin, unless you want. Zara did not let him finish. She had no weapon, but she had training. She dove low, using the narrow corridor to her advantage. The pirate's shot went high. She grabbed his weapon arm and twisted hard. The weapon clattered to the floor. The other pirates tried to help, but the corridor was too narrow for them all to attack at once. Zara used every dirty fighting trick she had learned in the military. She fought with the desperate strength of a mother protecting her child. She heard Mira screaming in the cabin. That gave her even more strength. Then Walter was there. He had grabbed the fallen weapon and fired at the pirates, forcing them to take cover. Get Mira, he shouted to Zara. Zara ran to the cabin and grabbed her daughter. Mira clung to her, crying. Walter kept firing, keeping the pirates pinned. Go to the bridge, he yelled. But one pirate came around a corner behind Walter. Zara saw it happening. The pirate raised his weapon at Walter's back. Without thinking, Zara threw herself and Mira to the ground and shouted, "Down!" Walter dropped. The pirate's shot went over him but hit the wall near where Zara and Mira had been standing. Debris exploded. Walter rolled and fired back, hitting the pirate in the shoulder. Move! Walter grabbed Zara's arm and pulled her and Mira toward the bridge. They sealed the door behind them just as more pirates entered the corridor. Shields failing, Kato reported. But their ships are breaking off. They are running low on power. Through the view screen, Zara saw the pirate ships retreating. They had spent too much ammunition and energy. Without enough power to breach the bridge, they chose to escape rather than risk getting stranded. It was over. They had won. Walter slumped against the wall, breathing hard. Blood ran down his arm where debris had cut him during the fight. "You are hurt," Zara said. "Just a scratch," Walter said. But his face was pale. Sierra set course away from the area at maximum speed while Kato sealed the breach and checked for other damage. Zara looked at Walter. He had risked everything for cargo meant for strangers. He had fought to protect her and Mira when he could have surrendered. He had put himself between danger and them without hesitation. This was not an act. This was not manipulation. This was simply who Walter was. "You could have surrendered," Zara said quietly. "You could have saved yourself." Walter looked at her with tired eyes. "People at Colony 7 need that medicine. How could I live with myself if I let them down?" And in that moment, Zara finally understood. Walter's kindness was not something he chose when it was easy. It was something he chose especially when it was hard. That was what made it real. "Thank you," Zara said. "For everything." Walter smiled. "Thank you for fighting with us. We would not have survived without you." Mira reached out and touched Walter's hand. "Tanko," she said in her small voice. Walter laughed despite his exhaustion. "You are welcome, little one." They were battered and wounded, but they were alive. And they still had their cargo. Colony 7 would get its medicine. For the first time since boarding this ship, Zara felt completely certain she was exactly where she belonged. Colony 7 greeted them like heroes. The moment the steady hand landed at the small spaceport, people rushed out to meet them. Humans, Velkans, Threen, Korthan, and a dozen other species all lived together in this frontier settlement. They cheered when the cargo bay doors opened and they saw the medical supplies intact. A human woman who introduced herself as Dr. Lisa hugged Walter despite his protests. "You saved us," she said with tears in her eyes. "We lost 3 children yesterday. We have 20 more who will not survive another week without these antibiotics." Walter looked uncomfortable with the attention. "Just doing the job you paid us for." "We heard about the pirate attack on the emergency channels," Dr. Lisa said. "You could have surrendered and saved yourselves. But you fought for us instead." While Kato and Sierra supervised the unloading, Zara helped Walter to the colony medical center. His arm wound was deeper than he admitted. The doctor cleaned and sealed it while scolding him for being reckless. Mira stayed close to Zara, still shaken from the attack. But the colony children were curious about the new arrivals. A small human boy offered Mira a sweet treat. She looked at Zara for permission. Zara nodded and Mira shyly accepted it. "Your daughter is beautiful," an elderly Velkan woman said to Zara. She had the same warrior tattoos Zara wore. "It has been long since I saw another of our people." "You live here?" Zara asked. "For 5 years now," the woman said. "Colony 7 takes in anyone willing to work hard and contribute. We do not care about species or past mistakes. Just about building something good together." Over the next 3 days while the steady hand underwent repairs, Zara learned more about the colony. She talked to merchants, farmers, teachers, and workers. Almost everyone had a story about Walter. A Threen farmer told her how Walter delivered farming equipment at cost when the colony could not afford market prices. A human teacher explained how Walter brought school supplies for free because he believed children should have education. A Korthan mechanic described how Walter hired his daughter when no one else would give her a chance because of her medical condition. "Walter never asks for gratitude," the mechanic said. "He just shows up, helps and leaves. Acts like it is no big deal." On the 3rd evening, Zara found Walter sitting outside the ship, watching the sunset. The colony had 2 small suns that created beautiful orange and purple colors across the sky. She sat down next to him. "People here love you." Walter shrugged. "They're good people. Easy to love them back." "They told me stories," Zara continued, "about all the times you helped them. About how you never ask for extra payment. About families you have given jobs to over the years." "People talk too much," Walter muttered. "How many?" Zara asked directly. "How many families have you helped like you helped me?" Walter was quiet for a long moment. "I do not keep count." "Why not?" "You should be proud." "Because it is not about counting," Walter said. "It is not about building a list of good deeds. It is just about doing what is right when you see someone who needs help." Zara looked at him carefully. His arm was bandaged. He had bruises on his face from the fight. He had risked his life for strangers. Yet he acted like it was nothing special. I want to repay you, Zara said firmly. For everything you have done for me and Mira. Name a price. Tell me what I owe. Walter turned to look at her with a gentle expression. You owe me nothing, Zara. That is not true. Without you, we would have died on that station. And without you, we would have been destroyed by pirates, Walter countered. You fought for this crew. You protected us. If anything, we are even. It is not the same, Zara insisted. You gave us food, shelter, work, and family when we had nothing. How can I possibly repay that? Walter stood up and faced her fully. His voice was kind but firm. You are not listening to what I am trying to tell you. You are part of this crew now. You are family. And family does not keep score. Family does not demand repayment. Family just takes care of each other. But... No, Walter interrupted gently. I understand your warrior culture values honor and repaying debts. I respect that. But this is not a debt. This is what family does. Sierra, Kato, you, Mira, and me. We are family. That means when one of us needs help, the others provide it. No strings. No obligations. Just love and support. Zara felt her eyes sting with tears. She had not cried in years, not since her husband died. But Walter's words broke through the armor she had built around her heart. I have not had family in a long time, she whispered. You have it now, Walter said simply. He placed a hand on her shoulder. Welcome home, Zara. She let the tears fall then. Walter did not comment on them or make her feel weak for crying. He just stood there with her while she processed everything she had been holding inside. 6 months passed like a dream. The steady hand continued its routes through frontier space. Zara became the ship's first mate, handling security and cargo negotiations. Her warrior skills proved invaluable, and her confidence grew with each successful delivery. Mira thrived. She learned multiple languages from the diverse crew. She helped Kato in engineering, learning how machines worked. She made Sierra laugh with silly jokes. She called Walter Uncle Walter now and hugged him goodnight every evening. Zara had never been happier. She had purpose. She had income. She had friends who felt like family. Most importantly, she had hope again. One day they docked at Station Nexus 7 for refueling. The same station where Zara had begged for food months ago. She walked through the corridors with Mira, showing her daughter where they used to sit against the cold wall. We were very sad here, Mama? Mira asked. Yes, little one. We were hungry and scared. But then Uncle Walter found us. They passed through the market area heading back to the ship when Zara saw her. A young Korthan woman sat against a wall, holding a small child. The woman's clothes were dirty. Her eyes were hollow with desperation. She looked exactly how Zara had looked months ago. Zara stopped walking. Memories flooded back. The hunger. The fear. The certainty that no one would help. The Korthan woman noticed Zara looking. Please, she whispered. My son needs food. Just a few credits. Please. Zara knew that desperation in her voice. That same hopelessness. She walked over and knelt down in front of the woman. When did you last eat? The woman blinked in surprise at the question. 2 days. But my son is weaker. He needs. Come with me, Zara said gently. She offered her hand. The woman stared at her with suspicion and fear. What? What do you want? To help, Zara said simply. My ship is nearby. We have food. We can talk after you and your son eat. The woman hesitated, exactly as Zara had hesitated with Walter. Mira stepped forward and took the small Korthan child's hand. You will like it, she said in her cheerful voice. The ship has good food. And Mama makes you feel safe. The Korthan child looked at his mother with hopeful eyes. The woman's resistance crumbled. Okay, she whispered. Zara helped her stand and guided them toward the steady hand. As they walked, Mira chattered happily to the Korthan child, telling him about the ship and the crew and how everything would be better now. When they reached the ship, Walter was checking cargo manifests. He looked up and saw Zara with the desperate mother and child. His eyes met Zara's and understanding passed between them without words. Walter smiled. Welcome aboard, he said to the Korthan woman. Let's get some food in you both. As Walter led the woman to the galley, Mira stayed with the Korthan child. The little boy looked scared and confused. Do not worry, Mira said, squeezing his hand. You are safe now. This is home. The child did not understand yet. But he would. Just like Zara had learned. Just like others would learn when they passed on this same kindness. Zara watched her daughter comfort the frightened child and felt pride swell in her chest. Mira was learning what Walter had taught them. That helping others was not about owing or being owed. It was about building a better galaxy, one act of kindness at a time. Walter came back out of the galley and stood next to Zara. Together they watched Mira and the Corthan child. "She is just like you," Walter said quietly. "No," Zara replied with a smile. "She is like us. Like all of us. She is learning what family really means." Walter nodded. "The best lesson anyone can learn." The steady hand lifted off from Station Nexus 7 an hour later with its crew expanded by 2. The Corthan woman would need time to heal and trust just as Zara had. But she would get there eventually. Because that was what family did. They helped each other stand up. They gave second chances. They built homes not out of walls and rooms but out of love and support. And as Zara stood on the bridge watching the stars streak past, she knew with absolute certainty that she had finally found where she belonged. She was home.